Hi guys, my name is Lasya Katta and I'm from the Carabel Academy delegation. This is my second year in YIG and this year I have the honor of serving as the Secretary of Technology.
Alright, so can you explain exactly what your bill is trying to implement?
So this bill essentially allows the use of CCTVs for rape and sexual assault victims to testify via CCTVs rather than face the person who raped them in court, and it only applies if the judge rules this at pretrial matters and it goes through specifications listed in my bill.
Alright, yeah, I've noticed that you had a whole bunch of, really, interesting statistics that were in your bill, and you really gave a lot of background information as to why you were trying to implement this.
Yes.
And then how did you come up with this idea?
Well, last year I was honored to be selected to go to the Conference on National Affairs, and this bill was something brought up that went all the way to General Assembly, which is one of the highest affairs it could go. And I was really inspired because I couldn't believe that something like this could exist and that something like this was happening. And there was this particular story that caught my eye. There was this time in 2011, a woman in Washington, D.C., she was raped, and in court, the person who raped her acted as his own lawyer, as they can, and he purposely kept on going up to her, kept on provoking her, even though the judge told him to stop, and he eventually did stop, but the damage was done. And during a recess session, the woman climbed up to the top of the courthouse building and she committed suicide. So hearing that story is what really motivated me to bring this bill up, because this is a real and tangible problem and we need to solve it.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
So, you just want to really, that's an intense story, and that's a really amazing reason to want to write something like that. So what other long-term effects besides that?
Well, right now, at least 16% of American women have been raped, but only 18% of rape and sexual abuse cases are reported to the police, and this number needs to change. It's one of the most underreported crimes in America, and really this incentivizes people to, talk about this, to tell the police, to get their story heard, because right now the problem is, and I mentioned this in my speech, testifying in court, people describe it as being raped a second time, because not only are you forced to relive the worst moments of your life in front of absolute strangers, but at times you're forced to relive the worst moments of your life in front of the person who committed the atrocious act. And I just don't think that's humane, and this really gives a person the incentive to properly communicate and gives them the incentive to tell their story in the first place. It gives a voice to the unheard.
It's really incredible.
Thank you.
And what was the most difficult part about writing this book?
I think I'm a huge advocate of the Constitution and of a person's innocent until proven guilty. So as you know, because of the Sixth Amendment and the Confrontation Clause, a person has the right to see their accuser, and I strongly believe in that. However, because of this case called right off the top of my mind for some weird reason, I've said it so many times today, but Maryland versus Craig, because of a Supreme Court case called Maryland versus Craig, it's been determined that there's a limitation to the scope of the Confrontation Clause when the testimony, when the witness testifying will cause them undue emotional or mental distress. And I use that clause to try to help my bill and to show that it wasn't constitutionally not viable or not feasible. And finding that in the first place was hard, but once I was able to do